Hello and welcome to Distilled 405. I'm Dan, and today we're going to be looking at the Edradour 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey from the Edradour distillery. It's bottled at 43%. It's 10 years old, and to my knowledge, I believe it is, it's natural color, and I do not believe that they chill filter their whiskeys at Edradour. This whiskey is, I believe, predominantly sherry casks as well as ex-bourbon casks, and it's interesting. Edradour is one of the smallest distilleries in Scotland, and definitely has one of the smallest volume outputs of whiskey per year. I mean, it's incredible how little whiskey they actually make, and they still make a good profit from it. So it's been around a long time. It's a Highlands single malt whiskey, and I believe the distillery was started. It doesn't say. I thought it said in there. Yeah, 1825. So it's one of the older distilleries in Scotland, to my knowledge. So Edradour is very characterful. They pack a lot of flavor in their whiskeys, and very unique flavors at that. On the nose, one thing I always get from Edradour, especially the ones that use sherry whiskey, is clay. Clay is it's very distinguishable. A lot of people that have Edradours, they might not call it clay, but I believe that that's how I would describe it. But I think we're all smelling the same thing and tasting the same thing. But it's something that's very unique to Edradour. It's very, very complex. I get some rich red fruits, some very fresh red fruits on the palate, or on the nose, excuse me. Being bottled at 10 years, it's not. It can be a little bit harsh, but very, very rich on the nose. But I get the predominant nose smells is the clay and the rich red fruits. Get a little bit of wood influence, but it's very, very spirity, and that's the spiritiness of it, being so young, covers up a lot of that wood influence, in my opinion. Let's taste it. Wow, very powerful. Only 43%. You would swear it was maybe 46%. You can tell it's young, you can tell it's spirity, you can tell that I think that if it would have been left to rest in the cask maybe just a little bit longer, I think it would be a little bit better. It's good. I get a lot of, again, that it's a very clay type texture and flavor. I live in Oklahoma, and we have a lot of red dirt here in Oklahoma. It's a very wet, hard clay type dirt, and it really reminds me of this whiskey, or this whiskey reminds me of that. On the palate, I get a lot of, try again. I get some sherry in the background. It's not right up front. Very well interlaced. Again, with the clay, I get some almonds, some nutty character, some fresh red fruits, maybe even like underripe red fruits. And then on the finish, is extremely warming, lasting. It doesn't fall off. It's still got a little bit of the nuttiness and a little bit of a twinge of bitterness with it. And I think it's that kind of that clay component that can be a little bit maybe astringent and strong. I think if anybody was going to be off-put by this whiskey, it would be that astringent clay component, and I don't know if that's the way the cask, the oak, is influencing the whiskey at a young age, or if that's mostly due to the distillery character. I think I would blame it a lot on the distillery character of the whiskey, which I think the distillery character is great. I just think that it probably shows itself a little bit better, maybe left in the cask a little bit longer. This bottle's not expensive. I think I paid $45 for it, maybe between $45 and $50. I think that it's a good value at that price, given the fact that it's natural color. I believe they don't chill filter it. It has a pretty high amount of sherry influence. So it's very naturally presented, and I think it's a good whiskey. I think for a young whiskey, it's really good as well. So you know, you're not getting something that's been aged for a very long time for your 45 or 50 bucks, which we usually don't expect to. So it's good. It's an interesting one if you want something that's different. That if you're stuck in a rut and you're looking for something to challenge your palate, this is definitely something that is much more challenging. That's not you know, it's not going to be your normal space side or something. It's gonna challenge you, and it's gonna want you to spend more time with it to really fully understand it. So it's good. It's a good single malt. I think it's a good price. I think if it's any more, it probably wouldn't be as much worth it. I think I would rate it I'm leaning towards an 85, but I think an 84 out of 100. I think that maybe if it was under 40. You know, I think there's some Aberfeldies and stuff that can be found for under 40 bucks, $33 that show really well for themselves too. So I think that being between 45 and 50, I would say I'd give it an 84 out of 100. Again, it's got that you know, very natural presentation, which I always appreciate. This is one that's good to add a little bit of water to as well. I'll go ahead and add a little bit of water and see if I get anything different. It's a very nice color too. It's taken on, for natural color, it's taken on a lot of the sherry cask. It's very dark. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's a very, very dark color for 10 years old. So that cask has had a lot of influence on it. And maybe there's a high proportion of first fill sherry casks in this that's giving it that deep, dark, rich color. So with water added, let's see, I brought it down to probably around 40%, maybe 39. Wow, that little bit of water has mellowed it out so much. It's taken away a lot of the astringency. It's mellowed it out. It's rounded the flavors. The same flavors are still there, but they're not as, like I said, astringent and spirity. It's taken down some of that spiritiness, and it's rounded it out a little bit. So, man, that would have to bump it up to an 85 even. I think the water really makes a big impact on this one. I haven't visited this one in a while, so a lot of the notes I'm going off of are just from memory. But yeah, 85 out of 100. I think with water. I think 84 before and 85 after it. It makes a big impact on this one. Some whiskeys are like that. Some take more water than others to really round out the flavors, and maybe we would have gotten to that flavor had I just let the glass sit and hadn't just poured it, and maybe let it oxidize a little bit. So I'm expecting that this bottle is almost halfway empty. So I'm thinking that you know, this one, give it you know, 6 months or so at that fill level, it'll probably be hitting its stride really, really well. So definitely one that's probably going to get better as it sits on the shelf. So anyways, thank you for watching Distilled 405. Hopefully have some more reviews coming your way. I'm not sure how often I want to start posting reviews, but I'm not a professional at this. I do it as a hobby and for fun, so we'll see what comes of it. But thank you for watching. Appreciate it.